Warm, sunny welcome to every one of you. And today, for those who travel, who change the place of living, this material film, I hope, will serve you very well. So, what to pay attention to when you want to relocate, move, or just travel for a few months, maybe to check out if you like the place, or you just for a shorter period of time. So if you are going for a longer period of time, or you immigrate, or you want to change your life completely, what we look at, the most important are the relocation and the transits in the place where you're moving. So here you need astrologist, or you can do it yourself if you have a basic knowledge, or you have time to dig in a little bit into astrology. There is a wonderful portal, astro.com, and you can check it out. So you click on astro, click travel, and you have lines that are complementing and nurturing your stay somewhere. These are short terms, but also you can do the complete relocation, and then you have everything, what in what house happens and how it's going to influence you. Most of the people who want to travel, they want a better life, and it means usually it means money, it means prosperity. However, I don't put that on the first position, because what if you have all the money but you don't have health there? So the basic thing is your stamina, it's your life force that you're supposed to look at, and that's the number one. The second one is the life situation. Is there a conflict, long ongoing conflict or war that is happening? Is it a safe place for you? So it's great, you have a great aspects there, but you cannot really live there because there is a constant war. Or you have a great relocation signs, your planets are in the right positions, but it's in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. Another one is the language. So you take into account the language. If you know the language people are currently speaking, if you are willing to learn, if you are able to learn, if you have this kind of talent. If not, if you're speaking English, only English, is there any specific international environment that you can thrive, you can be with, you have people, so you can have your own community of people you can relate to. And now there is this safety, financial support of your work, or how the transits are going to be there for you. So what's going to happen there? And this is why it's the last thing to look at. Even if that was your main motivation, you need to check if you're going to have health, if you can express yourself, if you feel well. What if you are making great money but you are not feeling great in particular country and place? And the last one, basically, if everything you want is want in that place is agreeing with what your soul, what your essence, what you are meant to do in this lifetime wants. The very important thing, and here I'm inviting you to the article of the French author Rogelle Pelletier, and I have no idea how to properly pronounce his name, but he wrote an amazing article about houses who kill or destroy. The article originally is in French, but also in English, and you can find it online, of course. However, there are certain vibrations that you feel, and also if you go to the restaurant, you have a first seconds, you feel the specific atmosphere, you want to stay there or not, is it supporting you, that place, or not. So the same thing is with the houses, especially those places or apartments that you live for a longer period of time. And here in this article, the author gives many examples, which I'm not going to read that now to you, this articles exactly, but the one of the few those examples is we need a roof under our head, and there was a certain incident during the Second War where the soldiers, everyone who didn't have that cover, and they have to sleep in the forest outside. There was not enough space in the buildings. Most of them died, but those who were severely injured and stay in the house, they survived. So some of the doctors there, they were researching this case and wondering, of course, why. So they came to the conclusion that having discovered the safety, our home is where is our safety. So we need that. Even the men, prehistoric men, they were always looking for a cave where they have this safety. Also, Chinese feng shui. Also, they have very strong knowledge about yin, yang, about qi, and how to support your life, how to lessen the wrong, negative forces of the nature. The author of the book that this author is talking about, I'm talking about the article of this guy, but he actually mentioned the book of Mr. Laforest, who was not a geologist, geomancist, you would say. And he wrote the whole book about how those energies, they have to be in a perfect harmony together. So there are forces, he called it telluric forces from the ground, from the middle of the earth, that are going upwards, and those coming from cosmos to us, and they have to be harmonized. If it's not, people, of course, going to suffer and experience any kind of diseases. Many of those influences the author discovered are influences called so-called occultistic, from the occult. So this has more something to do with the thought forms, with the crime in the house, with something wrong happened, or who lived in that particular place. So that will tell you if it's going to be lucky for you or not. And the walls are registering dramatic experiences in the house. So of course, that powers will ruin, of course, if it's negative, if something very bad happened there, will ruin the nervous system of the human body on the cellular level. And of course, most of the things that the author was studying and reported was, most of the times it was a cancer. And it was happening in a very quick period of time, not like for years of living there. But he gives here an example of 5 people going to the house where within few months, within actually first weeks, they started to suffer all from anemia. And it turned out that this flow of the energies was blocked. And once they pierced it through, and there was a flow of the energies and flow of the air, everybody was healed from the anemia. And then didn't take any drugs for it. They were not supporting themselves otherwise. So this is enormous influence of those unknown, unseen forces that are influencing our health, our well-being. So once they did that, everything came back to order. There are houses that when this flow is blocked, so there was another house that was built on the dried little river, and that was blocking a certain kind of energies. And people, there was like few people were renting it one after another. It's like 9 people died within 6 years there. So pretty that's a lot, and they all died from the one thing, cancer. So there's a lot of examples like that, and it has a lot to do with the rhythm of our cells and vibration vibe. He also talks a lot about sanctuary places that are to be sacred or a saint, or like the discoveries in the different places of the world. And the most important one, the not important, the most popular one was, of course, the time when 18 people died and didn't pay attention to the inscription in the crypt of Tutankhamen. And it was written there that whoever touches the pharaoh there will die. And of course, 18 people died. What is important, some people who worked near, they were not even there, but they signed up contract about transferring the parts from that place to museums in London and different parts. They also died within a short period of time, because they influenced, they crossed the border, they abused the will of those people who prepared that. So it is said like it's cursed, do not touch it if you touch it, right? So it's very, very important to study and to know what happened in the place you are going to, and if you pass the border, that you're not allowed to do. There is a certain another person, the only one who didn't die, Howard Carter. He was saved because he found the first, and he probably wear it on his finger, the ring, and they find out that the ring was coming from Atlantis, and it was having this protective barrier, bringing the owner harmony, health, good fortune, and happiness. And he was the only one who didn't die in a suspicious circumstances. So there is much, much more, and I invite you to find this book, this author. But here are a few what you can do. I suggest you test it out, how your place is working on you. Is it supporting you? And you can do that by traveling to other countries. And when you come back, that's the most powerful moment, when you have the fresh mind, fresh feeling, and you're intuitive. You're not used to your own place, but you can see what do you like, what is disturbing you. And one of the things that you can do, among all the clearing with sage, other herbs, and salt, is having the very, very powerful influence on those places. You can also bless your apartment, the place you live in, especially if you come in there to live for the first time, or someone died there, or there was a ghost, or there was a sickness. And so it's very important you bless it. You are also walking the potential ghost out of the house or out of this place, so they can continue their journey, because some of the ghosts are stuck, they cannot go, they don't even know they died, or this pain is keeping them still here near the apartment they were connected with, the house they were connected with. And that, of course, will influence people's life. Another interesting topic is when the places, especially hospitals, are very much influencing people's health. So it says, he says that bed of the person in the hospital that is sick of cancer, someone who is dying, or someone who died, always the bed supposed to be away 1.55 meters from the wall, because in the wall it's coming the information and it's indestructible for the person who will lay down later. So that's why there is the saying, people die in hospitals, right? Because it's not a practice that you can do right now. It's not something you hear even about. So long in another lifetime, in our history and some of the cultures, we also don't have it right now, but it was a custom that when someone dies in bed, in those families, when the people were living together in a very big house, usually the bed of someone who died was burned with him, because this bed has a vibration of death, so nobody would be sleeping in that bed, of course. So it's important to know about it, to at least make a better decision. In the places where the tragedy happened, there are other entities that like to be there, and they're feeding on the negative aspect, negative energy of that pain, that suffering. So do not go to the forest and meditate in those places or buildings. You need to protect yourself. In the scripts of Yogananda and other Himalayan masters, they always advise the students to always go with something they sit on. So they had usually skin of the animal, of the tiger they were sitting on, or in the presence of people that maintain the higher vibrations, to avoid those destructive and attacking energies that they may encounter by sitting somewhere outside. So that is a very, very big nutshell what I'm talking here about. There is the whole article about it, but what can help you also is to clearing out the space by putting a salt, not only in the corners, but when it's the entity that you suspect someone lived there and didn't want to let go, and there was not so nice ghost you have to deal with. Cleaning first the whole apartment, and that actually happened to me. I cleaned like I normally cleaned the whole apartment first, so it was very, very clean, and then I spread the salt from the oil. So you leave that salt in every corner, so you just go and put it everywhere among the walls, every corner. You make it like a circles or squares depending how your apartment looks like. You leave it for the 24 hours, and after that time, I can tell you this, that this salt in a clean apartment was almost completely black. So if that's going to happen to you, it's good to repeat that until the salt's supposed to be white. Unless you use the rose salt, but use the white one to test it out. If there was a crime, tragedy, what also helps is organize crystals, blessings, holy water, and every accessories we were talking about. So I invite you to go to the playlist and see film by film, because I was talking about how to clear out your space, yourself, what to do exactly. Here, one more aspect is to knock and almost like kick and knock and clap. The clapping also is something powerful, but also knock to the walls, and also use your I call it magic wand, but in every culture you can see, in every culture almost, and I saw it so many times in museum, they had that, they always had that stick with them, and they were always using it. It was very magical, energetical tool that was helping. So if you have that, you can also do that with the every wall of the apartment or the new space, also ceiling, the floor, and every wall. Yeah, some of you can laugh from it, like, oh my God, it's just a fairy tale. However, a lot of sickness are coming in a weird way, and some people just rationalize it, and it doesn't cost you to try. On the other side, you have, of course, the hospitals, doctors, and a lot of things you will pay lots of money for. And before you do that, maybe it's worth to test it out, what is really damaging our well-being and health, and what is really going on. So everything is possible, as the author states. And I invite you, of course, to more of those stories. I wrote a lot of those stories in my series of the Oracle. about the ancient priestess who was almost teaching, reaching out 3,000 years later to Jasmine, living in the current times, and telling her some of the Egyptian magic that the main character Jasmine didn't really want to hear because she just wanted to have this comfortable life. So for every one of you who is an outsider or experience more in life, I hope this will be a very interesting book and revealing to some of you something that probably happened in your life too. And if it did, I would love to hear about it. This is it for today, and I welcome all the comments you have for me because I am also inspired by them very much. So thank you if you decide to leave me a comment in English language and you heard this to the very end. Let me know about it. Till the next time. Bye bye.